Hell has no fury like a black woman fighting for her child. Let's talk about this shit. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to KRS TV. This is your boy Kenny, and this is the Haves and the Have-Nots Season 7, Episode 7, and the name of this episode is Rule 3. Again, this episode gave me life, because as I said before, hell has no fury like a black woman fighting for her child. And yes, I'm gonna get to why I said that. But yeah, so let me begin. So the episode picks up where it left off. Justin has been beaten to a bloody pulp, and I, for one, am happy that the chickens have come home to roost, and he's finally getting a taste of all the reckless bullshit he's been giving to everybody else. So, I'm actually happy that Justin got his ass beat. And the guy who gave him the flowers tells him, you stay the hell away from Jeffrey. You hear me? You stay away from Jeffrey. Then we get a clip back at David's house. David and Jeffrey are talking. David is ready to go out and start driving. You know, Jeffrey's being very overprotective because, you know, he did, survive a car bombing. So he's kind of worried that his dad is doing too much. But he assures him that everything is fine. And he also, lets him know that touch the car. Because they finally get out to the car, and Jeffrey is, are you sure you want to do this? Blah, blah, blah. He said, touch the car. And he said that, and the car goes off. He says, look, I got one installed on my car and your car. Nothing's going to happen, and besides, your mother's not going to do anything because the FBI is watching her. So she's on her best behavior right now. Everything is okay. So then, all of a sudden, so that went down. And then we pretty much see that he tells Jeffrey to go in there, make you some breakfast, chill. I got this. And he pretty much goes to drive off. The question is, where is he going? So then, we see once he gets inside the house, because what happened was that before they got out there, Justin had called Jeffrey. And Jeffrey at first wasn't going to answer the phone, but David was like, oh, was that Tim? Answer the phone. He answers the phone. He's like, Jeffrey, I've been hurt. Why would you do this to me? He says, I didn't do this or whatever. And I'm sorry that this happened. He's like, why would you do this? They told me to stay away from you. Why would you do this to me? Like, and then all of a sudden David tells him, give me the phone. And he gets on the phone with him. He says, yeah, this is David Harrington. I did that to you. And I'm letting you know to stay the hell away from my son or else. Like, pretty much put his foot down like, no, all the bullshit gotta stop. And I'm happy that David did this because Justin is this entitled white boy who never had to pay for any of his mistakes. So he just thinks he can do whatever and get away with everything. And I, for one, was getting sick of his white privilege being seen every moment. Like, he just kept doing all this reckless shit and got away with everything. And Jeffrey, being the stupid asshole that he is, because y'all all know that I said on my last episode that Jeffrey is officially on my list. So if y'all watch A Different World, y'all know y'all know about that. But anyway, so David pretty much lets him know, consider that a warning, and you better stay the hell away from my son or else. So that was the end of it. So then, David drives off, and before he drives off, he also tells Jeffrey, let me know if he calls again. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, now this weak bitch ain't gonna say shit, because she's still head over heels for Justin, but she's in denial. But as soon as David leaves, she calls Justin back, and he's like, how are you feeling? He's like, I'm beat up. He's like, are you okay? And he's like, I'm sorry. He's like, why did you do this? I'm losing a lot of blood. And he was saying that, and Jeffrey was like, well, you need to call an ambulance. I can't. I don't want to live. I want you to, I want to die. I did all of this for you, using the same abusive language. I did all this for you, and I love you so much that it makes me crazy. I'm sorry. Won't you come and help me? He's like, look, I can't come and help you. You need to call an ambulance. He's like, well, I don't want an ambulance. I want you. And I'm just like, wow. So then we see he eventually kind of like tells him that he's not going to call the ambulance. He wants Jeffrey to come to him. So Jeffrey tries to call an ambulance for him, and he tries to find the address, but has difficulty doing that. But then he later on finds out that that Justin that an ambulance finally did come to take Justin to the hospital, and I'm gonna get into that later. Now at the Artesian, Catherine has gotten her full life on another threesome with Broderick and Rocky, and she's just getting her life. And we see that Broderick decides to go to the bathroom, and while he's in the bathroom, we see that he's taking pictures of them in bed together, and he's sending them to Candace. So him and Candace are working together to blackmail Catherine. And I'm like, wow, this shit is crazy. So he's sending Catherine the pictures, and remember, Catherine is sitting at the Cryer's house waiting for Jim to get there. So her and Broderick talk on the phone, and she's like, yeah, I love it. This is good. But then she tells him, I'm sorry that you gotta sleep with that beast. But he was like, I'm a freak and I love it. So he is loving having sex with Catherine. But definitely he's out to try to shut Catherine down. And now we find out that he's working with Candace against Catherine. And he sent all the new pictures, so they probably gonna use this to put Catherine out there. And I'm just waiting to see what they're gonna do with this information. But then all of a sudden, when he gets out the bathroom, Catherine is dressed and ready to go. She asks Broderick to zip her up, and it was just so cute because after she leaves, it's kind of like they like little boys like waving bye to mommy, and she was like, "Okay, boys," and they're like, "Bye." But as soon as that damn door shut, Rocky flipped the hell out. He's like, I'm not doing this shit again. He's like, come on, man. We just gotta, everything is good. We just gotta keep it going. Everything's gonna be fine. You don't have to worry about anything. He's like, well, I wouldn't worry about it, but the problem is she reminds me of my mother. And I was like, oh. So Rocky ain't liking the cougar puss. He ain't liking it at all. And we see that Broderick is loving it, because Broderick didn't even want Rocky to be included. He wanted Catherine all to himself. So obviously, he's loving the cougar puss. And he's all about it. So, but the funny thing about it, when Candace was on the phone with Broderick, she also asked about Charles. And I'm like, so what's going on with the man? And he was like, so you're gonna make him your next mark? And she was like, oh no, I don't even want to get near that. I'm like, stop lying, bitch. You still got feelings for him, but you're running because you're in denial. Alright, so then we saw all that go on. So then back at the Cryer's house, remember, Hannah sat in the other room because she didn't want to deal with Candace. But then I just knew Hannah was going to be coming in the room with the bullshit. As soon as I saw her coming, her and Candace going back and forth. She's asking Candace, what are you doing here? And she's like, I'm here to see my man. She's like, that is that woman's husband. And she's like, and she don't give a damn, so why are you? And she's like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, first of all, little do you know, your friend is right now at the hotel with two men that work for me, and they are younger than she is. So, and she don't even know that I'm playing her, dumbass, because both of those guys work for me. And she's like, and then Hannah's like, oh, you just won't stop at nothing, will you? And she's like, can't stop, won't stop. I get it from my mama, or maybe my father, whoever the hell he is. And I'm like, yeah, we want to know who your father is too, Candace. And probably soon we gonna find out about this shit. So she's pretty much telling her, like, look, just don't talk to me. Stay the hell away from me, Hannah. And then Diane comes in there and says, like, can I get you anything? She's like, oh, yes, I'll have anything. Hannah's like, don't give her nothing. Don't give this damn girl anything. I'm like, Hannah is just not here for Candace at all. And Diana was like, you know what? I can't with you crazy bitches. I'm going back to work. And she just leaves. And then all of a sudden, Candace was like, but I do have a question for you, Hannah. Why have you worked here for so long? But she was like, it's better than selling your ass. But she's like, it's funny that you say that because I probably made more selling my ass in one night than you did an entire year. And I'm like, And she's like, so that's what it is. You just about the money. You always about the money. And she's like, yes, I am. And she's like, but that's that boy's inheritance. And she's like, yeah. And it's genius, even more so. Because and then she starts to ask Candace about the president. And she's like, so you messing on him too? She's like, yeah, I know all his secrets. And she's like, yeah. And then like all of a sudden Hannah's like, oh, you just not gonna be happy until you're dead. And she's like, so nothing bothers you, not your brother, your baby. And then she pulls up a picture of little Quincy and gets in our face with it. And I get so mad every time Hannah does that shit. You know that is a sensitive subject for her. And it seems to me that Hannah just wants to win the argument. And she's not really worried about the welfare of her child. You know, because your child is doing all this reckless shit because she's hurting. And she doesn't know how to put words to her pain. You know, she had a moment with Charles, but then she snapped right out of it because she doesn't want to deal with it. So she constantly puts on this mask so she doesn't have to deal with the pain. But here you got Hannah putting the picture in her face, and then she plays a video of him playing. And I'm like, you are so vindictive, Hannah, and that really made me mad. Because you really see that it's really making Candace uncomfortable, but she's kind of getting off on it. And she's like, you know, the thing about it, you know, I know this messes you up because we both are going through the same thing, but I think the reason why you're feeling this way is because you're starting to realize that this is your fault. And that's the thing that gets me mad about Hannah, is that sometimes I think Hannah just wants to be right. And at times it's not about being right, honey. Sometimes you just need to do the right thing and let people figure things out on their own. But it's like Hannah wants to make Candace grovel. It's like a competition with them. Both of them want to be in charge, like mother, like daughter. Both of them want to be the boss. Both of them want to be in charge, and they don't want nobody telling them anything else. So we kind of saw in this scene how much mother and daughter are a lot alike. And that's probably the main reason why they don't like each other. Because they both have that issue. They both are controlling. They both are self-righteous. And you can't tell them shit. There you go. So she pretty much drowns Hannah out, which I'm glad she did. She got some headphones and just played some music. Then we got this scene was funny as hell. We got Wyatt's old junky motherfucking ass at the jail with George. George tells him that, you know, I need you to appear before the grand jury. You know, I already got Sarah on the stand. Just tell them what happened, and you have to tell the truth. And once you do that, you're free to go. And he says, tell the truth. And he's like, yeah, all you have to do is tell the truth. And he's like, okay, fine. I just need a fix. And he was like, we'll take care of that after you do this. Wyatt pulled out his Jim Cryer type of manipulation and was like, oh no, I ain't appearing and doing nothing until I get my fix first. And he was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, I'm serious. I'm not doing nothing until I get a fix. So you need to give me something, because I ain't saying shit to nobody until I get my fix. And I'm like, this is a junkie for you. A manipulative junkie. Like, and you know these damn junkies know how to manipulate a situation. He pulled a damn wild card and flipped that shit like, until I get my fix, I ain't saying shit. And I was kind of laughing at this scene. Actually, in this scene, I was kind of for Wyatt, because Wyatt's like, nah, you gotta give me what I want before I give you what you want. And you see that George is mad as shit because George's penis is so hard to take down the criers that it's just making him insane and making him bloodthirsty. And he was like, well, fine, if that's how the way you're going, I should have just turned you over to your father. And he was like, yeah, I'd rather deal with the devil I know than the devil I don't. And he's like, you don't know this devil. And I'm like, we starting to see more and more your sinister ways as to why you want this. You want this for your own personal gain. This has nothing to do with justice, really. It's really about you. It's really about your ego. And pretty much he tells the guard, get a doctor in here and we'll see if we can get you something, you know, together so you can go deal the grand jury. And the guard told him, like, you know, that is kind of risky. He's like, just make it happen. So I'm like, here it is. You willing to even play, you willing to sell your soul to the devil to take down the crier. So that shows you right there, this is all about his own person. It's all about his own personal gain. It has nothing to do with justice whatsoever. And here it is. We again see, oh yeah, I already talked about that. So then we go to the hospital. We see that Madison has finally got to a shift, and then he's sitting with this other male nurse, and he's just talking cash shit. And he was like, oh, so how does it feel getting preferential treatment? I'm like, bitch, you mad because they ain't pick your stinking ass. But then he's like, oh yeah, so how is it like that? And he's like, yeah, they're a powerful family. And he's like, yeah, and the mother's crazy as hell. And then, oh yeah, and by the way, you got you a loony at number 3. And he's like, man, I don't want to deal with this. He's like, oh, you gonna do this? I mean, shoot, you get preferential treatment at that house, but here, you do your job. So, just one of the little messy bitches on your job that just gotta just, you know, gotta itch, you know, they got an itch that they have a problem scratching, so they just take it out on everybody. You know, one of those, you know, rats at the job who just got an attitude and like to be snappy and shit. That's what he kind of remind me of. You kind of got personalities like that on your job. So Madison goes to room 3 to see what's going on, and he all of a sudden he was like, hi, I'm Madison and I'm here too. And then all of a sudden we see it's Justin's ass. He's like, you're here to what? And he sees how beat up he is, and he's like, you did this to me. You see what you've done to me? You think you're special? Well, I'm gonna let you know. And he was like, you are not gonna threaten me. And he's like, I'm not here to threaten you. I'm just gonna tell you what's gonna happen to you. Jeffrey is ruthless. He cares about nobody but himself. And don't fall in love with him because he'll turn on you. And the funny thing about it that he said that shit because all of a sudden Madison goes back to the front desk. Next you know, he sees Jeffrey there to see Jeffrey's there to see Justin. And we just see that Madison is all up in his feelings, and I'm like, bitch, you didn't see the writing on the wall? Like, you obviously know he's in love with Justin, and that's why he keeps doing this bullshit, but he's in denial, which is really the reason why I say fuck Jeffrey. Whatever happens to Jeffrey, he deserves it, because Jeffrey's now on my list. But we see that he is really bothered. But then before that happens, though, he after he leaves the room the first time, before Jeffrey shows up, he talks to his coworker, and he was like, I can't help him. And he was like, why not? He says, because that's the asshole that attacked me. And he was like, and he's saying they must got him on surveillance. He was like, yeah, they did have surveillance, but for some odd reason, it wasn't working at the time of your attack. And he was like, I know, because he made it that way. Then he was like, well, you need to talk to the police about that. And he was like, he is the police. So then it was after that, that's when Jeffrey showed up, ready to see Justin. So after dealing with that, and you see that he's still reeling off of Justin attacking him, and yet here we got Jeffrey going to see the attacker. And then it just made Madison mad as hell. Madison kind of, led him to the room, and, and pretty much, he pretty much says that, look, I think that us getting closer is not going to work, so I would just appreciate it, if we just don't talk to each other anymore, as far as being on the phones and shit. And Jeffrey was like, fine with me. I was like, oh, Jeffrey just don't, and he's starting to see that, yeah, Jeffrey don't give a shit. So it's getting to the point where Madison is starting to get in his feelings, and he's starting to kind of see what Justin's saying. Because he did kind of tell him the truth that he don't give a fuck about you, Madison. You done got your feelings all wrapped up into him, and we definitely see that Jeffrey is still all about Justin, because he gets in the room with Justin. Justin is still laying it on thick. I miss you. I love you so much. And he tells him that the neighbors called and they got me here, and she's like, and he was like, well, actually, I talked to the ambulance. I talked to the emergency, and they said that you called. And he was like, no. And he's like, I'm just missing you. And but he's like, you need to get control of yourself. He's like, I know, but I love you so much. That abusive shit, and it always sucks Jeffrey in. And he was saying that you really don't love me. It's an infatuation that you have. And then he says, I want you to talk to Dr. Chambers. He can help you. No, I don't want to talk to anybody but you, Jeffrey. You did this to me. And he was like, I didn't do this to you. And he's like, but I loved you. And, you threatened, but then yet your father sends these people to threaten me. What, you think I deserve this? And then Jeffrey was like, maybe. Ain't no damn maybe. He deserved every hit, every kick, every bruise, every cracked rib he received. He earned it. Because since we have known Justin and his white privilege, he has done the unthinkable time and time again, and he never has consequences or repercussions for his actions. So this moment, he damn right deserved it. And he's like, you're saying I deserve this? You're saying I deserve this? Yeah, bitch, you deserve it. Crazy ass. And then he's like, but he's saying that, look, I didn't have anything to do with this, and I'm sorry that this happened. And he's like, oh, baby, please don't go. Am I gonna see you again? Could you go see the place? Could you see the place? I'm like, oh, this bitch is loony as shit. Like, you just got your ass damn near beat to the end of your life, and you still trying to go after Jeffrey and still trying to pull him into your world. And then he was like, I love you. I love you. And he's like, yeah, I love you too. And he's like, can you kiss me? And Jeffrey was like, no, and walked out. And then all of a sudden he gets to the front desk. Madison is mad as hell. And he was like, look, I know you don't understand it, but you need to respect it. And he's like, well, I'm having a hard time respecting that because maybe, the bruises on the back of my head is making me feel some kind of way. So, I'm gonna, finish my shift here, and I'll see you at the house later. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna work on somebody replacing me, as being the nurse for your dad. And then we see Jeffrey walks away all mad and shit. I'm like, bitch, what the fuck you think was gonna happen? He waking the fuck up and saying that you in love with this boy, and yet even though all the craziness that he's done, even putting him in danger, you don't give a shit. You still was there, there trying to be there for Justin, even though Justin has done all of this bad shit. So, personally, I'm like, good, Madison. But I'm saying, bitch, get out your feelings, because you should have saw the writing on the wall that Jeffrey obviously got some issues and he ain't ready for no real relationship because he's psychotic. He's just as crazy as Justin. It's just that they just kind of present their crazy in different ways. So then we got a scene with Benny and Mitch. They sitting in front of the damn house. Neither one of them know where, because we saw that Benny's like, we need to go after them. We need to follow Mom because, she left to go to see Jim. But they don't even know where Jim's house is. They get the old house, the one that got burnt down. And they got a new address, and here it is. You got Benny trying to call Hannah and Candace, and he's not getting any answer. That damn Mitch, and you can definitely tell Mitch feels some kind of way because he got feelings for Candace. He starts talking about, Candace came to the hospital with the president-elect. Yeah, Charles Fredericks. Yeah, he's like, and Jeff and Benny can't believe it. Benny literally turned around and seat like, you lying, bruh. He's like, I'm not lying. He was sitting there talking to your mother, telling her how much he likes her and all this. And it's like, wow, it seemed like Candace gonna be first lady. Yo, the White House is open territory, man. Anybody can get in that bitch. And then he's like, man, that shit ain't gonna happen. Like, Benny, shut the fuck up. You have no control over nothing. You lucky you still breathing right now with your stupid ass. Anyway, so he's saying that, look, maybe we need to call Veronica. He's like, oh, hell no, I ain't calling her ass. And then next thing you know, we get a scene with Veronica. Veronica's pulling up to her house, and she notices that the FBI is literally across the street watching her. She knocks on the window. It's like, well, hell, if you're going to do surveillance, why don't you just come inside? He's like, we're here doing what we're supposed to do, ma'am. And then all of a sudden, David pulls up. And I'm like, oh, so this is where David went. And then she was like, now that's somebody you need to be watching. And I was like, see, her ass messy as hell. She going to do anything she can to take the attention off of her. So David and Veronica go in, and at first, she was being real shady. Was like, how's your back? I'm like, yeah, bitch, you trying to get knocked out again? But he was like, yeah, I'm in pain. I've been taking painkillers. And he was like, you would know that very well, wouldn't you, Veronica? Because you remember, Veronica used to have an addiction to painkillers, which is why she started that rehab facility. So he was like, so what's going on? Where's Alice? And she was like, oh, Alice, oh, that bitch suing me, talking about a hostile work environment. And he was like, I wonder why she would do that. I'm like, yeah, your damn wife is a fucking pain in the ass. So then she starts talking about, oh yes, you see the rug? Don't you remember it? It's got blood stains on it. The day that you hit me and knocked me to the floor. And I'm not gonna clean it either because I can use it. And it's a reminder because that was the day that you were dead to me. And he was like, well, mutually, I can say the same about you putting Erica on me. He was like, I didn't put her on to you. Well, true, she didn't. Actually, Candace did. But once she found out about it, you kept the shit going, and then you blew her ass up. So then she's like, so what is it? So why are you here, David? Why are you here? You want to kill me like you said over the phone? Why are you here? And he's like, I want to take you to dinner. Things between us have gone way too far. I want to apologize. But she's like, I don't trust you. He's like, I love you. And I was wrong to try to replace you. And I'm like, oh, David, this is how he's going to get her. Bring her back in. Because you know what they say. Keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. So we're seeing him play out that narrative where he's going to pull her back in so he can find out her inner shit and use that to shut her down. And I see, and like, she's just being real, she's being real hostile. And it's like, get out, I don't believe you, get out. But then we kind of see when he walked out that door, he got that look. He's like, I'm gonna get you, bitch. So I was all here for that. Then we get the scene at the end where finally Jim shows up and he meets up with Hannah and Candace, and he's like, surprise, surprise, what can I do for you? And then Hannah immediately goes in. It's like, if anything else happens to mine, he's like, and then like, she's like, if anything happens to mine, she's like, oh, what you talking about, Hannah? What you trying to say? And then all of a sudden Candace was like, so, and she's like, he was like, look, I don't know what you think this is, Hannah, but you don't scare me. And it is what it is. And then like Candace was like, oh, she may not do something to your ass, but you already know I will. And he was like, wow, isn't it the bitch that took my 8 million? You know, the evil bitch that took my money. And she was like, yeah, and you're the bitch that's not gonna get it back. You know. And then he pretty much says that, so she says, so you did something to my brother? And he was like, hell yeah, I did. And I'm gonna be real with you, bitch. You better give me my money back or there are gonna be 3 more stabbings. And she's like, are you, and she's like, what you, and then like immediately Hannah's like, oh, I know the hell you not. And she's like, what you gonna do, Hannah? You don't scare me, bitch. I'm not scared. I don't care. You know, and she's like, oh, you about to learn today. And he's like, what you gonna do, bitch? What you gonna do? You a bitch, and you a trifling bitch, talking to Candace. So he's just talking all this shit. His testosterone is high, and he's just feeling good that he talking down to the black woman. But then she taking off the earrings, so you know right there, when you see a black woman taking off the earrings, it's about to go down. So he's still talking his shit, and she's like, I told your ass. And the next thing you know, pow! Just socks Jim, and then next you know we see Candace jumping on him. They both double teaming, beating Jim's ass, and I was so here for this. This was a damn good episode because he's another privileged white man that kept doing bullshit and getting away with it, and I finally wanted somebody to fuck him up, and I was so happy that Hannah and Candace, yeah, they don't like each other, but when it comes down to Benny, they team up and they ready. They will rock anybody that messes with Benny, even though Benny is a stupid motherfucker and Benny ain't shit, as I said before. But still, that's their blood. And you fuck with Benny, you fuck with the both of them. So they was both, you know, and you saw like Candace jump on Jim and everything. It was crazy. So this was a really good episode. And I can't wait to see what happens when it picks up. But definitely we see next week, David is bringing Veronica even further in. And we see that, you know, there's a square off between Veronica and Jeffrey. That's going to be interesting. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen with that. So that's what I have, everybody. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to talk to you about it. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all my social platforms. I have them all listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I'll be back with the next episode of The Haves and the Have-Nots. So until next time, everybody, take care.